History Lesson 8 Devotional Paths to the Divine Part 2 Islam and Sufism. Sufis were Muslim mystics. They rejected outward religiosity and emphasized love and devotion to God and compassion towards all fellow human beings. Islam propagated strict monotheism or submission to one God. It also rejected idol worship and considerably simplified rituals of worship into collective prayers. At the same time, Muslim scholars devoted a holy law called Shariat. The Sufis often rejected the elaborate rituals and codes of behavior demanded by Muslim religious scholars. They sought union with God much as a lover seeks his beloved with a disregard for the world. Like the saint poets, the Sufis too composed poems expressing their feelings and a rich literature in prose, including anecdotes and fables. Among the great Sufis of Central Asia were Ghazali, Rumi, and Sadi. They developed elaborate methods of training using jikr, that is, chanting of a name or sacred formula, contemplation, sama, rags, discussion of parables, breath control, etc., under the guidance of a master or peer. A large number of Sufis from Central Asia settled in Hindustan from the 11th century onwards. This process was strengthened with the establishment of the Delhi Sultanate. The Sufi masters held their assemblies in their khankhas or hospices. Devotees of all description, including members of the royalty and nobility, and ordinary people flocked to these khanats. They discussed spiritual matters, sought the blessings of the saints in solving their worldly problems, or simply attended the music and dance sessions. New religious developments in North India. The period after the 13th century saw a new wave of the Bhakti movement in North India. This was an age when Islam, Brahmanical Hinduism, Sufism, various strands of Bhakti, and the Nath Panths, Siddhas, and Yogis influenced one another. Some of them, like Kabir and Baba Guru Nanak, rejected all orthodox religions. Others, like Tulsidas and Surdas, accepted existing beliefs and practices but wanted to make this accessible to all. Tulsidas conceived of God in the form of Rama. Tulsidas' composition, the Ramcharitmanas, written in Avdi, is important both as an expression of his devotion and as a literary work. Surdas was an ardent devotee of Krishna. His compositions, compiled in the Sursagara, Surasavarali, and Sahitya Lahari, express his devotion. Mirabai was a Rajput princess married into the royal family of Mewar in the 16th century. She became a disciple of Ravidas, a saint from a caste considered untouchable. She was devoted to Krishna and composed innumerable bhajans expressing her intense devotion. Her songs also openly challenged the norms of the upper caste and became popular with the masses in Rajasthan and Gujarat. Kabir, who lived in the 15th and 16th century, was one of the most influential saints. He was brought up in a family of Muslim Julahs or weavers settled in or near the city of Benares. Kabir's teachings were based on a complete, indeed vehement, rejection of the major religious traditions. His teachings openly ridiculed all forms of external worship of both Brahmanical Hinduism and Islam, the preeminence of the priestly classes, and the caste system. The language of his poetry was a form of spoken Hindi widely understood by ordinary people. He also sometimes used cryptic language which is difficult to follow. Kabir believed in a formless supreme God and preached that the only path to salvation was through bhakti or devotion. Guru Nanak, born at Talwandi, that is Nanka Sahib in Pakistan, He traveled widely before establishing a center at Kartarpur. A regular worship that consisted of the singing of his own hymns was established there for his followers. Irrespective of their former creed, caste, or gender, his followers ate together in the common kitchen, that is, langar. The sacred space thus created by Guru Nanak was known as Dharamsal. It is now known as Gurudwara. Before his death in 1539, Guru Nanak appointed one of his followers as his successor. His name was Lehna, but he came to be known as Guru Angad, signifying that he was a part of Guru Nanak himself. Guru Angad compiled the compositions of Guru Nanak, to which he added his own in a new script known as Gurumukhi. The three successors of Guru Angad also wrote under the name of Nanak, and all of their compositions were compiled by Guru Arjan in 1604. The number of Guru Nanak's followers increased through the 16th century under his successors. They belonged to a number of castes, but traders, agriculturists, artisans, and craftsmen predominated. By the beginning of the 17th century, the town of Ramdaspur had developed around the central Gurdwara called Harmandir Sahib, that is, Golden Temple. It was virtually self-governing, and modern historians refer to the early 17th century Sikh community as a state within the state. The ideas of Guru Nanak had a huge impact on his development from the very beginning. He emphasized the importance of the worship of one God. He insisted that caste, creed, or gender was irrelevant for attaining liberation. His idea of liberation was not that of a state of inherent bliss, but rather than pursuit of active life with a strong sense of social commitment. His teachings are now remembered as Nam Japna, Kirat Karna, and Vana Chakna, which also underline the importance of right belief and worship, honest living, and helping others. Guru Nanak's idea of equality had social and political implications. The 16th century was a time of religious ferment in Europe as well. Martin Luther felt that several practices in the Roman Catholic Church went against the teachings of the Bible. He encouraged the use of the language of ordinary people rather than Latin and translated the Bible into German. Luther was strongly opposed to the practice of making donations to the church, so as to gain forgiveness from sins. His writings were widely disseminated with the growing use of the printing press. Many Protestant Christian sects trace their origins to the teachings of Luther.